Welcome, everybody. How's it going? It's day 2 of OTAs. Oh, what a day. Open to the media. We got to see some great content from a lot of the people out there, the great beat writers out there. But more importantly, the players got to talk to the media today. Oh, man. That boy, Trey Lance. That boy, Trey Lance, really put in a hell of a press conference. This kid's leadership is amazing. And we're going to talk about Trey Lance. We're going to talk about all things OTAs. We're going to talk about everything that we heard and saw, all the news out there. We're going to talk about it all, man. I'm excited today. Welcome to my YouTube, our SL 49ers, Raj Melwani, your boy. We are finally here. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm ready to talk about the Niners. It's day 2 of OTAs. I'm ready for the season to start today. What's up, everybody out there on YouTube land? What is going on? Let's talk about my man Trey Lance. Oh man, this boy. So let's talk about it real quick. Let's get to it. So today, open to the media, right? So everybody, of course, was going to be talking about Trey Lance. All eyes on Trey. Of course, that's like the big guy that everybody wants to see. This is basically his season to take over as the quarterback. Starting quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo's got the shoulder surgery. Kyle Shanahan even reiterated today they're still looking to trade him. Shoulder surgery, complicated things. They're still looking to go that route. Trey Lance has, had a whole off season, a whole rookie season, and today he was out there. And all the videos that they've shown, he looks smooth. He looked confident. He just looks like he's ready to lead this team. And everything that I've read, everything that I've heard, I've listened to a couple other people out there today. They're all excited. They're all sitting there saying that he looks ready. Jimmy Ward was talking him up. George Kittle said he looks great. And then you could just see it in his face. Like he looks just like a different person. And in the media today, they asked him a lot about his finger because he brought up the fact that, he had a finger issue last year. Remember, he broke his finger at the end of the preseason. And then through the year, he said he was still kind of dealing with it and it limited his passing. So whatever the issue was last year, maybe it was attributed to his broken finger. And see, today he kept saying, he's like, look, the finger feels great. I feel good. No problems with the finger. And now Trey Lance, a whole offseason under his belt, you could tell just the confidence is oozing. Jimmy Ward talked about it today, that he's oozing confidence. He looks a lot better this season. The cool thing, I love Jimmy Ward, man. And you guys know how much I love and respect Jimmy Ward. Their locker room mates. I was listening to the press conference, and I think Dave Lombardi asked him, and he goes, how do you feel about Trey Lance being your locker room teammate? Do you guys talk shop? What do you guys do? He goes, we just talk shit to each other. He literally said it. Jimmy Ward says, we talk shit to each other every day, and it makes us better as, competitors. They go out there, they compete, and Jimmy's like, you ain't going to throw this on me, and Trey Lance gets a pass on him. So he's like, all right, bet, So it's good to have that competition with one of the big veterans on this team, on the defense, and Jimmy said, this defense, they believe they could be the best in the world again. And he says Trey's going to make that defense better, but the defense is going to make Trey better. So they're already looking to help Trey in all the ways. The veterans are helping him out, and it's that, iron sharpens iron mentality. I'm excited, man. I think the team is really rallying behind Trey. And let's talk about Trey specifically. This man left no crumbs at the press conference today. I got to bring this up, man. I have to bring up the Trey Lance press conference because today, he's very well spoken in the media. He basically told the media to kiss his ass in the most respectful way you can humanly do. Like, I could not believe this man's 22 years old and the way he handled himself, because he basically said, I do not care what the media says. I don't care what you guys have to say about me. He said, at the end of the day, it's not my job to care what you guys say, because he's not there to please the media. He's not there to make anybody in the media happy. He's there to make the teammates believe in him, and that's what he's going to do. That was unbelievable. Like that press conference, let's pull it up.
People have such strong opinions about how good or not you're. When you see so many people have such strong opinions about how good or not you're going to be when you are done.
I was just talking to Peter about this, actually. in the most respectful way possible. Like, it doesn't change how I feel about you guys as people, but I really don't like necessarily, it's not my job to care what you guys say or anyone else on social media. I mean, for me, I care about what the guys in the locker room think and what my coaching staff thinks. And at the end of the day, that's my job. You guys, unfortunately, aren't the ones that are making decisions for me or really have any effect on me in the most, again, respectful way possible. But I know everyone's got, strong opinions one way or the other. Like I said, I'm going to go out and try to prove people wrong, prove myself right. But I'm doing it for the guys in the locker room.
Oh, man, he dropped the crown. Trey Lance, man, handled himself so well in the media. I love it, man. I love how he just handles himself with the media. He basically told them, I don't care about what the media says about me. All offseason, people sitting there saying he's underwhelming, blah, blah, blah. You really think that's getting under Trey Lance's skin? He's going to feed off this. He's going to make all those stupid haters, the doubters, look like idiots. And I love Trey for that. And it's great that Grant Cohn asked that question. I know a lot of people sit here, they hate on Grant Cohn. Grant Cohn asked some great questions. That's a hell of a question. And Trey Lance with a hell of an answer. And I see a lot of people in the comments talking about how Javon Kinlaw said some stuff to Grant Cohn today. So I don't know if you guys heard this, but Grant Cohn said he walked up to Javon Kinlaw today when he was on OTA practice. He was on practice, and Javon Kinlaw called him a sucker-ass bitch. He called him a sucker-ass bitch, man. I don't know what Grant did, but maybe they just, they hate. You know how Grant is. He, rubs the players the wrong way. So they're going to give him back the negative energy, because he calls the players out. But honestly, that's good for Grant and his channel. He gets views, he gets subs because people want to hear what he has to say, and they hate on him. And the more, comments he gets and the more views he gets, it's good for his algorithm. And then it pushes the players to play harder. So even though Grant is negative, it pushes those players, and they play harder because they want to prove people like Grant wrong. So that was hilarious that he said that. It was hilarious that he, said that. But no, Trey Lance today, I mean, this kid is looking part of a franchise quarterback. He's so well spoken. He looks like a field general, and it's just exciting to see him out there, learning the game, learning the ropes, and he's the future. It's just exciting times, and it's anytime someone posts about Trey Lance, you're like, oh, I gotta see the video, I gotta see the clip. So it's really great to see. The fan base is starting to get excited. I know a lot of haters out there, but they're starting to get excited, and it's great to see. So. I love to hear the positive things about Trey Lance. He's going to have his ups and downs. He's going to have his share of struggles. Let's not say that he's not, but it's great to see that he's going in the positive direction. Let's talk about some news today. There was a lot of news that happened today. I tweeted about it all. Let's go through it all, and we'll kind of talk about it together. There was a lot today. So that's kind of what I wanted to end, lead off with the Trey Lance and how he's so hyped. So let's go right to it. Kyle Shanahan today, he addressed the media. It's the first time we heard from Kyle in a while. So he says, let's talk about Alex Mack. He says that he has a pretty good idea of Alex Mack's status. He says he's in another country at the moment, but he says they pretty much know what's going to happen. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with Alex Mack. Tell me, Kyle. Nobody knows except Kyle, apparently. I don't know, but he says Alex Mack, they have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, and he's in another country. That doesn't tell me anything, Kyle. Nobody knows at the end of the day. So, Alex Mack is not at OTAs right now, but he's a veteran. The veterans don't need to be there. Last night I just talked to Eric Davis, former 49ers cornerback, the legend Eric Davis. He told me basically that the veterans, they don't really care about OTAs. They don't need to be there. They're going to get in shape themselves. And he's right. These veterans, they've been in the game for so long. They don't need to go to OTAs. It's great for the younger players and the newer players to kind of catch up to speed and impress the coaches. But a veteran like Alex Mack, who's been in the league, 14 years, doesn't need to be there. So he, maybe will be there at training camp, but we'll see. Of course, we got to see. And then he also said, Kyle Shanahan, he says, he basically said that they know what's going to happen. They'll have to go down that line another day. So as a fan base, we don't know. We can speculate. What's going to happen. I think Alex Mack will probably come back. It kind of seems like it. Maybe he's taking some time off, taking a break to kind of catch himself off season. Let these guys get some rest, and let's see what he has to do down the line, right, to come back. Sorry, the call threw me off there. So let's see how Kyle Shanahan manages the situation if Alex Mack goes. If Alex Mack leaves the team, then you're going to have some big questions. Who's going to fill in where? So, is it going to be Jake Brendel, Dan Brunskill? Is it going to be Donovan West, the undrafted player? Speaking of Dan Brunskill, Kyle Shanahan did note that he had some tendonitis in his knees, so he should be ready for training camp. Another guy that should be ready for training camp is Mike McGlinchey. Kyle Shanahan was talking about the injuries. He said Javon Kinlaw, Mike McGlinchey should be ready for training camp. So hopefully everybody's healthy and ready by the start of training camp, which is about the end of July, early August. That's usually when training camp is. A couple other things. He noted that Azeez Al-Shahir, who had a breakout year last year, Azeez Al-Shahir had knee and shoulder surgeries this offseason, and they're preparing him to be ready for training camp. So that was kind of big news today that he kind of dropped, but nobody really talked about it that much. So I do feel that's kind of a important thing to note because Azeez Al-Shahir, he signed his tender this year, contract year basically. This is a big year for him. He had shoulder and knee surgeries. We don't know exactly the magnitude or what injuries he may have had, but surgery is surgery, and you got to rehab. So they said Azeez should be ready for the start of training camp, but we'll see. He did play. He plays pretty tough, and it's tough to see a guy like that get hurt, and have surgeries. But this is what the off season's about. Go ahead and rehab. Go ahead and get your body right in the meantime until training camp comes. Because right now, again, OTAs, most of these players don't need to be in condition. And Eric Davis told me this yesterday. He goes, a lot of the times these players are going to go and get surgery during the offseason and be ready for training camp. Get your body right. So that was kind of big news that he dropped a little bit that, Azeez Al-Shahir is going to have surgery because he's a big part of this defense. He had a hell of a breakout year. And now Dre Greenlaw, he might be expected to take a bigger role if Azeez can't start. But they do think he should be ready by training camp. So that was something he noted. Speaking about someone being there for training camp, Deebo Samuel. Kyle Shanahan did talk about Deebo Samuel today. He said that he believes the relationship between Deebo Samuel and the team can get back to normal. This is kind of what me and Smitty talked about a couple weeks ago on the quad box. We said that, now that the trade deadline, or not the trade, but the draft went away. They didn't make a trade, right, for Deebo. So now you're going to have to see this team kind of come to terms, come in full circle with Deebo in contract negotiations. And both sides have to come together and say, look, let's bury the hatchet. Let's figure it out. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think Kyle is basically reiterating, like, hey, look, whatever happened in the past. Let's move forward and let's bury the hatchet and let's get this contract negotiation. He did say that he's confident that the situation will be resolved. He says, I feel the same, if not stronger. So it was a lot of positive vibes around Deebo from Kyle Shanahan. And he said he does expect him to be back for mandatory minicamp. Remember we talked about this last night. I said OTAs, it doesn't really matter if these guys are there like Deebo. It's not mandatory, voluntary. And I said that June 13th through the 15th, that's mandatory minicamp. That's when I think Deebo Samuel will be back because that's when you start getting fined. And Shanahan basically reiterated that today. He says, look, man, I'm pretty sure that Deebo Samuel will be back for mandatory minicamp. And Trent Williams and Nick Bosa, all these guys, they don't want to get fined. So they'll be there for mandatory minicamp. Right now they're doing their own thing, making sure they're staying in shape, whatever the case is. So I think that Deebo will be there, and Kyle Shanahan reiterated that today. So that gave me some really good positive outlook in terms of Deebo and the rest of the team. Like I said, the veterans like Trent Williams doesn't need to be in OTAs. So that was kind of good news there. He also stated that, so Kyle Shanahan also stated that he hopes that Jason Verrett will be cleared for the start of training camp. That's good news. He's coming off the ACL injury last year. And if Jason Verrett can be healthy, we've talked about this, this man could be a bonus, an extra addition to the secondary, and a very good addition to the secondary. If Jason Verrett can be healthy this offseason, oh, man, that's just icing on the cake. And I think that he will be. And I think Kyle Shanahan's pretty confident. Like I said, they're hoping that Verrett will be cleared for the start of training camp, and that's big. If Jason Verrett can be there for training camp, get his body right, and get in position to kind of get in line with the secondary, that's massive. And I'm praying for Jason Verrett because I love the guy. I think Jason Verrett is one of my favorite players to play for his team in a long time. Since he's just a great guy, he's battled adversity, and personally to me, he's always been great behind the scenes. Really good dude to talk to. I'm pulling for Jason Verrett. I love the guy so much, and I'm hoping he stays healthy, because if we have Emmanuel Mosley, Charvarius Ward, and Jason Verrett on the field together, oh, man, that secondary is going to be crazy. Speaking of Charvarius Ward, this guy looks like he's going to be a great cornerback one for this team. He's already kind of soaking it up. He's out there. I've heard really good reports about Charvarius Ward. And Emmanuel Mosley, that guy looks big. He put on some muscle. I think Emmanuel Mosley is going to be... Emmanuel Mosley and Charvarius Ward, I'm so excited for this duo. I'm telling you, these two guys are going to be a great secondary duo. Mark it. I think they are. So, let's see. So, moving on from that, Trey Lance then spoke with the media. And again, we talked about what Trey Lance says. He says that his finger is 100% right now, which he said limited his throwing ability his rookie season. He says, Trey Lance says he feels very, very different heading into OTAs. And last year he said he was like swimming a bit. So you could tell he's more confident. As a rookie, he didn't know where to go. He didn't know where his role was. And again, he wasn't the starter. And he didn't know he was going to be, out there at a big role. And I think this year, it's more clear to him, okay, I got to lead this team. So I think that this year you could just see the difference in Trey Lance's mental makeup. And it's great to see. So, and then, of course, Trey Lance dropped the mic. He dropped the mic on the media. I love it. I can't get enough of this quote. I want to read this quote one more time. He says, in the most respectful way possible, it's not my job to care what you guys say or anyone on social media for that matter. God, Trey Lance. What a king. What a legend. I love him already. So, George Kittle, he spoke to the media as well. He talked about him. He says he hasn't had any contact with Jimmy Garoppolo this offseason since they cleared their locker. Those two guys are boys. Although I do know they were in Vegas together after the season. So he hasn't had any contact with them after the offseason except for the time they were in Vegas, because they were in Vegas together. I know this for a fact. But other than that, he hasn't had any contact with Jimmy. So it's crazy. A couple of other things that George Kittle mentioned today. Pretty good stuff. Let's talk about all the stuff that George Kittle, he said that he wants Alex Mack back. He also says that, Trey Lance, his confidence is in a better place. And again, that's what Jimmy Ward said, and George Kittle reiterated that. So these players are seeing a different Trey Lance. It's great to see. So, again, Trey Lance is getting a lot of respect from the players, and I think they see it, that this is his year, that the team needs to back him up. And everything I've heard, everything I've read is basically positive for Trey right now. Of course, there's going to be negative. I'm not going to sit here and pull them all out. It's the second day of OTAs. Whatever negatives is kind of irrelevant. It's nice to see a lot of positive right now. Again, it's a whole process. We got a whole couple weeks still of OTAs. This is only the second day. We got until the middle of June, and then mandatory minicamp. And then after that, they take a little break, and then training camp. That's where men are separated from the young boys. So that's where it goes. My man Daco says Trey Lance and George Kittle, the new Niners bromance. I think it's brewing. I absolutely think you're right. I absolutely think you're right that the Trey Lance, George Kittle, the bromance is brewing. You're absolutely right. Brandon Aiyuk, let's change gears to Brandon Aiyuk. He did speak to the media today as well, and he just seemed happy, man. He just looks like a whole different, we want to talk about people that look like a different person. Brandon Aiyuk, you could tell he's in a different place mentally. He just looked happy. He says he's just happy to be on the field. Last year wasn't the case. Remember, I think he was in a dark place. And I remember there was a video. I can't remember who interviewed him. I think it was Keanu Martin or Cam Inman. I can't remember who interviewed him that day. But it was like week 4 practice. And Aiyuk was just like, yeah, I'm finally happy. And this was like week 4, week 5. And he was struggling last year. And it was kind of like, damn, you're happy? Why is that news? But you could tell. And it was the week after Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch basically says, we know he's not at where he needs to be. He can be better. Like they said, he can be better. It was kind of when everybody was saying he was in the doghouse. You could just see mentally, I don't think Brandon Aiyuk was there last year. And I think whatever happened, he stepped out of the funk because he had a good second half of the year. And, man, Brandon Aiyuk just looks like a different person. I think he's going to explode this year. Year 3, to the moon. Brandon Aiyuk, he looks bigger. He looks more fast. He looks more confident. He looks stronger. I think him and Trey Lance together are going to be a great duo. And I think Brandon Aiyuk is just happy that Trey Lance is there. He even said it. He goes, he's happy for Trey. He's happy to be out there with his brother Trey Lance. Like, that's big, man. I'm excited for this duo. Brandon Aiyuk, Trey Lance to the moon, baby. Take it to the bank. I love these two together. It was a good combination. So that was pretty much the meat and potatoes of the press conference, and everything there. Some notes today. Let's pull up some notes from. Again, it's OTAs. You kind of take the practice notes with a grain of salt, because a lot of these guys, they're younger players. They're not the big veterans, not the stars. Most of them aren't always there. Like, again, Trent Williams wasn't there. Nick Bosa wasn't there. Deebo Samuel wasn't there. George Kittle wasn't there. Fred Warner wasn't there. Shanahan did say that Kittle and Warner, they're kind of watching on the sidelines because they got some lower body issues, and right now they want to make sure they're ready for the training camp. Those guys don't need to be there. It's George Kittle. It's Fred Warner. We know they're going to come in and be the best in their position. So it is what it is. This is kind of the time for the younger players to make their statement and show, hey, I need to be on this roster. I need to be on the practice squad, or whatever the case is. This is a great time for those players to be there. So let's pull up some notes here from OTAs, and then we'll kind of end it. We'll go on Instagram. So there was a lot of, like I said, a lot of the O-linemen aren't there. Mike McGlinchey's not there. He's still rehabbing. Alex Mack, he's in some other country. We don't even know what country he's in. Trent Williams, he's a vet. He doesn't need to be there. Dan Brunskill, we talked about it. He has, he's got tendonitis in the knee, so he's not there. So the first string offensive line today was Colton McKivitz, Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel, Jalen Moore, and Justin Skule. Most of these guys are your second team line. This is probably going to be your second team line as long as those other guys that aren't there, the starters, are there or not injured. So, normally Trent Williams is going to be your left tackle, but you got Colton McKivitz. Aaron Banks is probably going to be your left guard. So he's the only one out that list that's probably going to end up being a starter, most likely. Again, we'll see. Jake Brendel, right now he's playing at center. Alex Mack, hopefully he's the center, but if he's not, it's going to be Dan Brunskill, right? I would assume, but who knows? And then you got Jalen Moore at right guard, and then Justin Skule at right tackle. It's nice to see that Justin Skule is actually there because he did tear his ACL last year in training camp. So that's big news. That's actually big news that Justin Skule is back. So he's there. Another guy that was back is Tarvarius Moore, safety. He had an Achilles tear last year, so he was there. I saw Dave Lombardi posted a video of him, running around and things like that. So Tarvarius Moore is going to battle with Hufanga for that safety spot, and Odom and O'Neal for that second safety spot next to Jimmy Ward. And Jimmy Ward did mention his job this year is to mentor those guys and make sure they're ready for whoever's going to start next to him. He wants to make sure they're ready. So that's it. OTAs was a great smashing success with Media Day today. It was great to see so much 49ers content on the timeline. I'm excited. I'm excited for Trey Lance and the rest of this team. But that's pretty much it. Not much other news. That's pretty much the rundown. I don't know. You guys ask some questions. I'll go ahead and answer some questions for you or give you my thoughts. So I'll give you about 5-10 minutes. We'll answer some questions, and then we'll call it a day. YouTube for day 2. Appreciate the support. Look at that. 36 viewers on the second day. We got 20 likes in here. I love you guys. Thank you. Any new jerseys you plan on getting? That's a great question. Let me know what jerseys you guys are getting. I need to get me a Jimmy Ward jersey. The man's a savage. I need a Trent Williams jersey. That's what I need. Those two guys. I don't know why I don't have a Trent Williams jersey. But Jimmy Ward, that's my boy. I need to get a Jimmy Ward jersey. But yeah, drop some questions on there. We'll answer them as we go. And appreciate the support, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. Aiyuk was looking bulky. He does. Joseph says, I believe Aiyuk is going to lead the team in receiving yards. That's not a bold situation. It's not a bold statement. I think that Brandon Aiyuk can lead this team in receiving yards. This guy looks just like prime for a breakout year. Last year, Deebo Samuel, year 3, he went crazy. I think Brandon Aiyuk is going to go crazy this season. So that's it. Steven Rogers says, give Banks as many reps as possible. 100%. Give that man the reps he needs, because the only way to get better is to play, just like Trey Lance. And Jimmy Ward said it today. He said the only way Trey Lance is going to get better is to give him the reps. The only way Aaron Banks is going to get better is giving him the reps. So my man Eric Bryant says 15 for 17. Trey, I'm telling you, just wait. Yeah, dude. From the reports we heard today, Trey Lance was 15 out of 17. So if you got a spreadsheet, put that in your spreadsheet. I mean, it is OTAs, it is practice. Again, it is non-padded, non-contact. So take it with a grain of salt. That's why I said take these reports with a grain of salt. I'm not going to sit here and hype up the 15 out of 17, but it is nice. He did look good. The biggest thing I took out of it when you see those videos, boy, it's silky smooth. He got a silky smooth, really, just, the mechanics like butter. It's like butter on a roll. It's like butter on a roll. Whoo! Trey to the moon, Austin. You are absolutely right. Did Shanahan look annoyed to you? Says, comment, Mean B says, did Shanahan look annoyed to you? He seemed uptight. That's just Shanahan. To me, that's Shanahan. He always kind of looks a little, he's tired of these quarterback questions. He's tired of the question. I think that's just Shanahan. He just doesn't have emotion. He never smiles. He's never happy. I just think that's Shanahan. So, anything on the running backs and Ray? I haven't heard much today. I haven't really heard much. I know Elijah Mitchell is still rehabbing a knee surgery he had this offseason. I tapped into Cam Inman's Instagram Live earlier, and he did mention that as well. He says Elijah Mitchell had knee surgery this offseason, and I think I reported it a couple weeks ago when the news came out. So he's not out there. Jeff Wilson Jr. got the bulk of the carries today, is from what I understand. And if you kind of see the stuff out there, it looks like Jeff Wilson Jr. is the guy that's getting the burn right now because Elijah Mitchell is still rehabbing. But nothing else, not too much news. Ray McLeod, though, speaking of Ray, he showed his number today, number three. And if we all know who wore number 3 last year, that's a big sign because Jaquiski Tartt will drop the name. He's a free agent. He hasn't signed with the team yet. That's kind of telling that Ray McLeod has the number 3 now, and Jaquiski Tartt still hasn't signed with the team. So take that for what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Take it for what it is. So, Noah Woods, he does always look like he's having. He does look like he's having a bad day. Kyle Shanahan. My man J2B says his release is quicker. I think you're talking about Trey Lance. Looks fast. But I think a lot of it has to do, like he says, his finger was messing with him last year. He had the broken finger, and it limited him. And you could tell it was bothering him last year. And this year, he got that quick release. My man Smitty, the Fantasy Football Show, he says Trey, king of the NFC. No cap, baby. I think Trey Lance to the moon. I can't wait to talk to Smitty. We're going to have Smitty as a live guest tomorrow. I'm going to have Smitty as a guest tomorrow on the YouTube. I got to figure it out. I got to figure out how to do all that stuff. I don't know yet. We're going to have Smitty as a live guest, and we're going to talk about Trey Lance to the moon, baby. We're going to talk about it like we always do. Mean B says, I'm glad he defended himself. Media has been dogging him out. That's exactly what I said when I opened up this show, that it just was great to see Trey sit there and take that approach. You know, he's a humble player, but at the end of the day, he's not going to take any shit from anybody. And today he let him know very professionally the way he handled himself for a 22-year-old kid. Man, he's not kid. It's funny for me to say because I'm an old ass dude, so I say kid a lot because I have a kid, but he's a man. Let's be honest. Trey Lance, for a 22-year-old young man, the way he handled himself with the media today, after all this crap, all this offseason, Trey Lance is underwhelming. Trey Lance, he's not ready. For him to sit there and tell the media the way he did, the way he said it, so matter-of-factly, and he says, look, with all due respect, I don't give a shit what you guys say. It's basically what he said. But he said it so nicely that it was like, okay, go off, Trey. Go off. I'm so happy he defended himself. Great comment there. I love it. I respect the hell out of it, Trey Lance. This kid's going to win over everybody. I'm telling you, the people that are doubting him, they're going to be his biggest supporters. You book it. Whew. Javon knocked his hat off, too. Yeah, I got to figure out why he said this to Grant Cohn. I know a lot of people said that he posted a video about it. I'm going to go listen to it after this. But Javon Kinlaw, he ain't taking any crap from anybody either. This man's dealt with a lot of adversity, a lot of haters, people calling this man a bust. Javon Kinlaw is bringing all the smoke this offseason, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love Javon Kinlaw coming for the haters' necks. Now, if he's healthy and he goes out there and he can prove himself, everybody's going to be eating a big old basket of crow dipped in barbecue sauce. Whoo! I can't wait for Javon Kinlaw to come for these haters, but he has to prove himself. But this boy is talking a lot. The fact he called Grant Cohn a sucker ass bitch. Close your ears if you're young. He said that today. It's still funny. It's still funny. Oh, man. Whoo! My man Noah Woods, did you peep when Trey tossed the ball to BA out of everyone? That BA chemistry, I'm telling you, Trey Lance and Brandon Aiyuk, they've been waiting for this. They trained in the offseason the last 2 years. I'm telling you, they've been waiting to go off to. This is a beautiful, dynamic duo. Batman and Robin, Trey Lance and Brandon Aiyuk. Book it. Keep the receipt. This is the next dynamic duo in the NFL. I love it. I love it. Do I watch any sports other than football? I watch them all, but football is the best. Niners are the best. I do love the NBA. NBA playoffs are great. Let's see. A couple more questions. My man Devon Jarrell says, when do the vets have to report? Mandatory camp is when they need to report, unless they want to get fined. So mandatory minicamp, June 13th to June 15th. That's the first time they got to report. And then after that, training camp. Training camp is towards the end of July, beginning of August. They need to be there for that, or they're going to get fined. So right now, OTAs, veterans don't need to be there. They can if they want to, if they love the game. Jimmy Ward, he's a leader. He's a mentor. He loves football. He's going to be there. Does he need to be there? No. But my man Kobe for life. Appreciate the question. Who do you think will wide receiver 3 be? It's going to be Juwan Jennings. This kid's stock is rising. He's a dog. He blocks. The reason I love Juwan Jennings, he's not just a receiver. He's also going to be that physical guy. He does the work that is underrated. He blocks a lot. And that's big for Kyle Shanahan. And this guy was a clutch receiver last year. Third down, money in the bank, red zone, money in the bank. This guy was so solid on those clutch plays. I can't remember the stat exactly. I think out of 28 catches, 24 of them were like third down or went for a first down or touchdown. Don't quote me exactly. It was around that range. It was like 24 out of 28 or something like that of his catches were either a first down or a touchdown. That's your wide receiver 3. I know JJ, and I know you got Ray McLeod, and I know you got Danny Gray, and I love Danny Gray, and he's going to be a speed demon. But I just think that Juwan Jennings, out of these receivers, he's your third option. He's your wide receiver 3 because he's a tall guy. He's possession. He's going to get you a first thing. He's a professional chain mover. Juwan Jennings, wide receiver 3. But Danny Gray is going to be fun. And I like what Brandon Aiyuk said about Danny Gray today. They asked him, what do you think about Brandon Aiyuk? He says, he can fly. He can fly. Boy, that boy is about to take off. I can't wait. So let's go one more question, then we're going to call it a night. And then we'll hop on to Instagram. People blowing up my phone. I need to answer some messages, I guess. Let's see. One more question. Let's make it a good one. What games do I plan on attending? I'm not sure yet. That's not the question, though. Let's go. One more question, and then we'll call it a night over here on YouTube land. Any more questions? No more? Waiting. Let's see. Well, if there's no more questions... Oh, there it is. We got one. One more. This is the last question by Joshua Munoz. This is a good question. Oh, wow. The biggest sleeper on the team. It's a great question. The biggest sleeper on the team? Everybody. Everybody's sleeping on the safety, George Odom. Everybody's sleeping on him. Everybody thinks that he's just a special teams guy. I like this acquisition. They brought him in from the Colts. He was a Pro Bowl special teamer. He is a spot safety here and there. I think this guy is going to come in and be something pretty nice. I think he's going to be pretty nice with it. I really do. I think Odom's going to be a nice, solid player. He's going to be better than a lot of people. I think people just think he's going to be a special teamer. I think he's going to get a lot of big plays this year. I don't know. I have this feeling. This guy is a solid veteran, and I'm excited about Odom. I'm excited about this guy. I'm really excited about it. have a good vibe about him. When they signed him, I was like, oh, I like the signing. Kind of underrated. He was kind of like an underrated player on the Colts. And the Colts were so mad when they left. Like all of his teammates were like, "Oh man, you guys got a good, unbelievable." I think this guy's gonna be a solid player. If he gets that starting position next to Jimmy Ward, if it's Jimmy Ward and Odom, it's gonna be a dangerous call. That's my pick for sleeper. Not a lot of people are talking about Odom. Not a lot of people are talking about him. Like that to me is the sleeper of this team. I really feel this might be a home run off-season acquisition that nobody's talking about. I don't know. That's just me. But anyways, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys hopping on tonight. YouTube, we'll be back again tomorrow on YouTube. We'll do it all over again for you. I'm going to go on Instagram for about 30 minutes before the Warriors game. We're probably going to talk about the same stuff that we just talked about. But I appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Bless my heart. Bless your heart. I love you. I'm just starting out on YouTube. We'll get better. Content will get better. Stick with me. You know I love you. Appreciate the support. And you guys take care. Have a good rest of your night. If you don't hop on Instagram, no worries. No hard feelings. I love you. Have a good night. Take care. And of course, bang, bang. Not a gang. Have a good night, everybody.